So here's what you get in the box. I will save you the unwrapping of everything, and I've displayed it here. You've got the monitor. The monitor is plastic, but it seems decent. It's got a nice protection, sunscreen protector on it. It's got a DVR in it with a, I believe it's a 32, yep, I can see 32 gigabyte memory card. I don't know exactly if it records all 4 channels from all 4 cameras, but I'm hoping so. You got the directions. The model is EHD4 that I got, and the instructions are adequate. Most of it is going to be interpreted for your application, so it might be a little bit non-complete to some people, but I think adequate. They did give me a kind of a unique thing here. They thanked me for being a customer and offered me a camera, a rectangular camera, a side camera, or a dash cam with a cord. I'm not sure what I would do with the other 2 cameras. Besides, I don't need the dash cam because that's what I'm doing with this setup. The other 2 here, I'm not sure if I would need those. I'll probably get one because it's free. If they can do some sort of a switch, that would be great. But back to what is in the box, you've got 2 10-meter cords, 2 15-meter cords, which equates to 32 feet and 49 feet. So plenty there. You got your 4 cameras, 1 in the box, 1 out. Seem decent. I don't know why these protrude and are as fat as they are for the side of the motorhome, but all of them seem to be that way. So excuse the greasy fingers, I just fixed something on the sending unit of the diesel tank. Okay, so here's the cord. The 4 cameras will plug into this, of course. These are your trigger wires. Trigger wires meaning that I think, well, I don't know what the colors are, but they're all color coded. So one of them is going to be your turn signal, so your side cameras come on at the same time you turn your turn signal on, which is the way I'm going to do it. Reverse obviously would come on when you put the reverse, your transmission in reverse. Looks like there's about 3 different variations of mounting brackets. This one seems to be somewhat of a custom made for an application. This was just a fixed one that mounts like so. This one mounts in the bottom like a camera and sits on one of those, either on a windshield or I've got a couple circular pads on my dash that I'll probably use for that. This is a real nice feature, and so if you're going to turn to the right and you want to look real fast without pressing buttons on the touchscreen monitor, then you can flip it to the right side of your motorhome and go from there. So excited to get this mounted. I'm going to look for some holes or ways to get the 49-foot cord from the back camera to the front, and here we go. I would highly recommend doing a bench test. This one turned out fine. As you can see, I got all four cameras showing up on the monitor, but I have everything connected as it should be to a little 12-volt battery that I had for my garage door opener. And the only thing that I didn't test was that I started to put the other long cable in through the back. So I'm going to make sure that that component works properly by going back with this setup to make sure that that cord actually works. Because once you get everything installed, you might have recourse with the company eRapta seems to be very good about things like that, but a lot of labor lost if you've already run your, for instance, in my case, the long cord from the back to the front. So heads up, bench test. Well, I took on the rear view camera as the first project because that was going to be the hardest, and it was. And as you can see up above here, I ended up with some wires hanging out, and if I can get this correctly here, there we go. Anyway, I'll show you that in a minute. What I discovered was that getting those wires to the front was a little more complicated than I had planned, and I found a tool. I had actually purchased a tool not long ago that helped me immensely, so I'll show you that. Let me turn this camera around. So this is kind of dark in the engine compartment here, but as you can see, I drilled a hole in this wood layer right here. I'll epoxy that, not epoxy, I'll caulk that here in a little bit, but I wanted to attach that, and it ran down here with strap ties around this way, and then I made my way down this wire loom. I got kind of lost right here. I didn't want to get too deep into this thing and strap tie it all the way, but what I did will save you immense amount of time. I was able to run all the way up the frame and through the holes in the frame that had a rubber grommet to protect the wires. So the tool that I used, once I got it this far, you know, probably 4 feet forward from here, I hooked the end of the wire to this fancy tool right here. Okay, so this is the tool that will save you an immense amount of time. It's an extension for running wire. You just screw the little fiberglass rods that are flexible together, and I tied and taped the end of the cord to one end and shoved it through, and that was amazing. I would, though, recommend that you have somebody feeding you the wire, because it's easy when you have 49 feet of wire to get it all wound up and then it gets caught somewhere. So if somebody was feeding it to you as you were going through, you would alleviate that issue. I didn't have that, so I had to improvise. Anyway, got it through. I am going to contact eRapta and let them know that they should make that a little bit longer and maybe a couple of them a little bit shorter, because on my coach, which is 38.5 feet long, I had about a foot left over to go through the firewall and hook up to the system. So had I had a 40 or 42 footer, I would have been shy. And here's what I'm faced with. The original camera, which is this guy right here, quite small, black and white, went through this hole and attached to this wire through this. So my new camera is like so, quite a bit bigger. I don't want to mount it up here. That would be kind of cheesy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a plate that covers up the old plate and leaves room at the bottom for a future camera that I'm going to hook to this old cable. It's a black and white, but I was reading online last night that you can modify it to be a color camera, and I'll get another monitor and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that at a later date. But for right now, I'm concentrating on this one. So the plate that I've made up is just a piece of plexiglass, and I've scratched it up so that it kind of resembles the light green until I paint this, and then I'll paint it all together. But I'm going to mount it towards the top of this square and leave a hole of space for a hole at the bottom to add another camera to the old wire and face down at the toad only. I want the other camera in color to be on the main monitor for monitoring traffic and semis coming up behind me so I can be in the right. Okay, the side view cameras were fairly cut and dried. You just have to figure out where you want them and what kind of a view you want looking down the motorhome. But I plugged them in loosely and then brought them around and placed them on there with some tape. Set the monitor up in the window and adjusted the camera to see what I actually wanted to see going down the road. So there you have it. And where's it at? Here we go. They're a little bit cumbersome looking at them, clunky looking, but I'm going to paint them and hopefully they'll blend in a little better. But the functionality of them is awesome. And I'm not going to pull out my drawer here, but I had fairly good access, and I just tied right into my turn signal wire that was hanging off the back, so it was a real easy clip. This wire doesn't go to this unit, it goes all the way back to the control unit, so I had to do a little bit of an extension on the wire to get it to where I needed to go, but fairly simple. So there you go. Okay, reaching the end of this project. Let me show you what I found out. I'm very happy with the installation and how everything went. The side cameras turned out better than I expected. I'm very happy with that. I did have a problem with the turn signals, and I'll show you what I encountered and how we resolved that. So here we go. Okay, to let you know what's happening on camera 2 and camera 3, I have my trigger wire 2 to camera 2 and trigger wire 3 to camera 3 for my left and right turn signals. And here's what happens when I turn my turn signals on. Here's the left one. And here's the right one. And then I've turned them off, and it still continues to blink. And I think that will go away. Maybe not. There, it went away. And you can probably see the resolution in my bottom right camera is kind of it's just not great. It's not it's clear, but it's got, I don't know what that is. It's resistance or something. So help me out. Thank you. So make note of that S-turn delay of 3 seconds. That's what I was having trouble with. What happened was I hooked up my trigger wires to the left and right turn signals. Make sure that you have your trigger wire 2 to camera 2 and so on. They have to match. But what it was just, I fixed it now, so I'm not going to go back and show you how funky it was, but now it works fine. Here's my left turn signal here. It turn that on and it automatically goes to my left camera. Right turn goes to my right camera. So all is good. Flip it back off, goes to 4 cameras. Should. There you go. And there is a setting in here that I will change to modify after I drive down the road and figure out how I want it. I don't think I need to see the front camera at all. I just want it to be recording in case there's some weird thing happen in front of me. And so I'll modify those settings. I'm not going to get into that right now, but here is basically how you do it. You go menu, and then you hit the plus. You get over to settings. Whoops. Split. Oh, that's probably the split setting there. Then you hit mode, and then you can modify your settings. Let's just see here how this works. Let's go to that one and just try it. And then that should go away. I'm not sure how to do this here yet. There we go. And so now I have the rear, the right, and the front. But I can modify those. So just that simple. I haven't played with everything here, but then you can also touch the AV button on the right. And I'll show you what that does. There's the rear. You can do this manually. So all in all, pretty clean, easy installation, and very happy with the product. So I hope you learned something about how to do it, and try to do it on your own. Take care.